Good afternoon and evening, everyone. Today we have a fantastic Final Fantasy Legend 2 race for everybody. Again, racers are Invenerable, Toorima, Random Hughes, and Leggystarscream. Invenerable will be running 1 human, 2 monsters, 1 robot. Random Hughes will be running 2 humans, 1 robot, 1 monster. Leggy will be running 1 of each, so a monster, robot, esper, and human. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
That's correct.
And Toorima will be running 2 espers and a robot and a monster.
Teleport hype.
Toorima's doing the gambling route.
Just for you guys.
So if you don't have, does anybody have anything to say before we get going?
Watchers
I
be
don't think
kind.
so.
All right, then if y'all are ready, we'll get going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, good luck, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so this is a pretty fun game. I actually hadn't played it until this year ever. I decided to speed walk it one day and just decided to stick around in the community. It's pretty awesome game with really good music. At the beginning here, there's just a lot of text, and then we're going to be selecting our party, and then we'll get into the real nuts and bolts of the gameplay. A lot of the damage early on is going to be coming from the robot, probably most of the game is going to be coming from the robot.
Pretty much, yeah.
One thing to note about the equipping and stuff at least with the robot, is that every time you unequip something from the robot, it loses half its uses, and then so they won't be doing too many equipment shuffles unless absolutely necessary. So if they put something in the wrong spot, they'll just kind of leave it there instead of unequipping it and moving it. So we're going to do a little bit of equipping here. We're going to take some equipment off the human, at least on Leggy's and Invenerable side. I believe Hugh's side as well. And putting all that equipment on the robot to get some agility boost.
I plundered both the humans. So the reason we do that, the reason that all of us who have humans in our party likely picked human female is that the human female starts with a rapier, and mechanically this game works by the robot. Any equipment it equips adds to its stats, and the rapier adds 4 agility, and it's a weapon that's based on agility, so the higher your agility, the better the damage. So with my party composition, I took 2 rapiers off of the 2 humans that I have and put them both onto the robot, and the robot gets 8 more agility from doing that.
The other advantage, of course, in addition to taking the rapiers off, you saw us take the armor off. And that's because as long as you have fewer than 5 living characters, you are guaranteed to run. So the sooner our front row human can take a dive, the sooner we can get out of these unnecessary battles and move on to actual required ones.
And of course, at the end of battle, your party members come back to life with only 1 HP. But that does mean every new fight you have to knock them down again and keep picking them back up.
Yep, but them having 1 HP is perfect for this use case simply because if we want to have somebody dead when we have 5 party members, and they've got 1 HP, they got a pretty good chance. So the first person in the game, in the party, is 50% target for most attacks. And if they got 1 HP, there's a pretty good chance they're toasted from the first hit.
So whenever you have a marathon where people bid and they really want to make sure their friend is the party lead, well, their friend's spending a lot of time face tanking the ground, actually.
Pretty much, yeah.
So back to what Random Hughes was saying, since I'm running 2 espers instead of 2 humans, they only have bows, so my robots only get 2 extra agility from those instead of the 4 from the rapiers.
Yep.
Yeah. Whereas my human and esper fall right in the middle there.
Yeah, Leggy should have 6 agility from the equipment that she gets to plunder, and Toorima should have 4, and I have 8.
I also have 4 because I only have the 1 rapier.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It's fine.
So you guys are going to be completely full of bricks here in a moment, then.
I actually only got 1 can't run in the first cave, which kind of blew my mind.
I got like 3. I'm unsurprised though. You acclimate, you get used to it.
I did get a lucky warning off of an encounter I decided to fight, which was nice.
You got warning already?
Yeah, you can get it off anything you fight. And so I decided to take a few things and I got lucky.
It's just incredibly uncommon that you get warning from the monsters at this point in the game.
Yeah.
Well, either you're going to get first try Watcher meat because you have the best RNG in the world, or you just used up the last of your RNG and you're about to set a world record for worst Watcher.
Honestly, I will take the worst Watcher after getting that good luck.
I was gonna say, either way sounds like a win to me.
Well, the funny thing about warning, though, is that it only matters if your opponents, if the enemies have the surprise capability, which nothing we deal with actually has that until World 4, right?
Apollo's World, yeah.
Yeah. But it is nice to get means I don't have to worry about it later.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it means you don't have to worry at all about what you're doing in Key's body or any of those places where Inven will have to do some trickiness.
Right.
The teams that Leggy and I are working with are specifically engineered to make sure we get that warning ability, so we may lose a little bit of time. Well, Leggy clearly didn't, trying to get it early. There's one point where I will grind it out on one of my monsters, and that'll be where I'll lose a little bit of time, but hopefully all of you get a ton of surprise attacks in the following worlds, and I'll make it up.
Rude.
Hey, it's a race. I want to win.
I see how it is, Inven.
So at the end of the ruins here, there will be 3 chests that we're going to be picking up that contain Magi. There's a lot of doors in this game that we can't actually open unless we have a certain amount. And we'll be going out of our way to open up certain chests that contain Magi to be able to advance further throughout the game. So you'll see them, going off different directions at the end usually at the end of a dungeon or something, to pick up the 3 or however many Magi are back there.
And watch yourselves, chat. I will break out the Demon Chocobo or the Disco Lemonade if y'all end up deserving it.
Don't test him, he's got it. The man who got a PB yesterday while having to do palette switching, including some very ugly palettes that were great palettes, but eye-searing.
Good old hot dog stand.
Hot dog stand. It's a good palette to use when you need to catch up.
Somebody ban this man, please. Oh, here I go. Into the zombie dance party.
All right. The next destination on the route here is going to be Ashura's base. We're going to be avoiding all the zombies that we can, just because they get in the way. And then at the end of the dungeon, we're going to be fighting another boss, the Rhino. We usually shouldn't have too many issues due to having a key in our party. And then again, we'll have another 3 Magi chests on the way out.
Yep. The real trick with this particular dungeon is how many can't runs you get, because we now have 5 party members, which means we are no longer guaranteed runs.
I got 2 in one fight.
Oh, that hurts.
Gross.
But I want to do the one fun thing. I think I am getting a zombie clip here, which is always one of the fun things.
Swag.
If you're at the dance party, dance with a zombie. Oh, nope. I was not on the right frame to make that work. Whoops. Oh, well, I take it all back. Just wasting time. Bad sweat.
Yeah, the big thing in this section is just can't runs with the party members, and when you have a 5th party member, it just makes it that much harder.
Yeah, so can't runs are really only going to be a thing for us up until about the end of Apollo's world. After that, just mechanically, the way running in this game works is it sums the agility of the monsters, adds a number from 0 to 50 to that, and then sums your party's agility, where every dead or missing party member is worth 100. So you are pretty much guaranteed to be able to run without anyone in the 5th party slot or with anyone dead in the first 2 slots. And later on in the race, our agility robot will have so much agility that it's just not going to matter anymore, because there's no possible configuration of monsters that could stop us from running, even with a max roll.
The only part that I might have an issue with, because of the Espers have 1 less agility than the humans, is I could potentially get can't runs in Guardian's world also.
I have got at least 5, maybe 6 can't runs in this Ashura base. This is amazing.
I've gotten more than I've gotten in a long time. I think even more than I got while doing a practice run with Double Robot earlier today.
I just got one standing on the tile in front of Rhino. That's a new one for me.
I actually somehow am out of Ashura's base. Oh, never mind. I got a can't run in front of the door to leave.
The game has it out for me. My practice run earlier today had the best time at Ashura I ever had, and I didn't get a single can't run with key. And now, nope.
Can't run the tile after Rhino. Thanks.
I just got another one, 2 more after that.
Yeah, keep it up, team. Keep it up, team. Oh, that's the wrong. I'm over here busy taunting and not inputting commands correctly.
Justice.
So Key is going to leave our party once we head to the, what would you call this? The warp world, I guess.
I think we affectionately call it the Beanstalk, but I believe its technical name is the Pillar of the Sky.
Okay. All right. And then we're gonna be headed to Ashura's world next. The funny thing about Ashura's world is the clouded area, and there's an inconvenient sandstorm in certain spots. So we'll see them walking a certain path around the sandstorm, trying not to get into it, because if you accidentally walk into it, it's a nightmare to get out of.
We actually take different routes through it, and I deliberately walk through it.
Good to know. So there's, I'm sure there's multiple ways to walk through and around. I know Paul Plays Poorly does a different route than a few other people, and there's so many different ways that you can actually take walking through.
Yeah, so some of the storm tiles force you to move the moment you step on them, and some of them, as long as you're moving through them, you can keep moving, which is the section that I just walked through. So as long as I don't let go of the D-pad in the direction I was walking, I'm fine.
It's so nice not having Key in the party.
Right?
You're telling me. That was the worst Ashura base I think I've had in at least 6 months. And that's including the train wreck that was my RPG Limit Break submission.
Let's not talk about that one.
How's your cartridge doing, Inven?
There's a reason I'm on emulator tonight. That is currently in an inscribed circle with some incense and some...
So we pick up the saber here in the tower. That's going to give us quite a bit more damage from the robot here. Does the saber actually add any stat boosts?
Yeah, it's an agility weapon, much like the other stuff. I think it's 8, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I believe it is 8.
Okay. But it's going to be a huge weapon for a lot of the fights coming up. It's going to be dealing pretty much about 90% of the damage. It's really one of the big chests that shouldn't ever really be skipped, even in a casual play, I would assume.
In a casual play, you pretty much pick everything up in here, but you have no idea how any of it works, so you put that on a human, and it does no damage.
Totally fair.
Yeah, so in this dungeon, we get Mask, who's totally not Dad wearing a mask.
Could have fooled me on that one.
It's really Dad.
What?
Fantasy Legend
Spoilers.
3 DS remake confirms it.
It does.
And then the other stuff that will be picked up is mostly just for money for shopping for later on. So we'll be wanting to buy some equipment for damage, for AoE damage on certain enemies.
Yeah, there's like 2 dimensions of AoE damage in this game. So if you notice when we're in fights, you'll see a number next to the party or next to the monster's name. That's how many are in that stack. So you have to kill that many times. There's certain weapons like the SMG that will hit everything in a stack. And then there's also some things like spells like Flare that hit everything on the screen.
Yeah, a more true AoE than just like a stack AoE.
Loved Can't Run with Mask.
Somehow I didn't get any with Mask.
I also didn't, even though I was really expecting one.
After that, yeah, I was totally expecting it too.
So as you can see, the Saber's putting out some pretty hefty damage on Ashura. And Ashura's down just like that on Hughes' side.
Yeah, I just 2-cycled him. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, that was really quick.
Mine took 4 or 5 turns because he killed my robot, so...
Oh
Rip.
no. So
Mine took 3.
we get teleported back to the homeworld, and we need to go talk to Key again. And we got to find out about this little thing called the Micron.
Please, no selling of the Micron, gentlemen. And everyone, no selling of it, please.
You don't want to hike back to Giants World just to see the sights?
No, I don't.
I mean,
Yeah,
honestly,
so the story
it's kind
here
of-
is the story here at this point is basically that we have been told that Ashura, in a final fit of desperation, sent a bunch of terrorists into Key's body to steal her magi. And the lovely little fairy that's sitting outside of Key is now terrorized and is telling us that we need to go into Giant's World and figure out how to become small, because when I think of, ways to become small, I think of giants.
Well, they're so large, they need to shrink down to interact with normal people, obviously.
I mean, in this game, that's true.
But the joke about not selling it is that this game doesn't really have a true key item system that's not for your magi. So there are keys, there are microns, there may be a couple other items I'm forgetting that you can sell, but it doesn't soft lock you or anything. You just have to walk all the way back and pick it up again.
I think technically the only way you could actually soft lock the game would be to sell the key from the sewer crab, but you'd have to run back out the back way and deliberately sell it to do that. Oh no, I just talked to what's his name twice.
I think he drops it if you drop it or sell it again.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
That's that.
That's
Right
a
now.
good safety.
The only soft look I know is if you do the garbage can glitch too many times that I did as a kid.
Oh,
Because it sets your magi to 99, and then if you fight or get any more, it just goes back to 0.
Oh wow.
nice.
Whoops.
So we need to find out where this Micron is, and we basically kind of sneak into the back of the cafe or coffee shop, or could be a bar, who knows. And we get some information, and then we head on to the giant town, and you'll notice that the houses are heftily large.
Yep, we're pretty much walking in through mouse holes.
Shoutouts to Johnny, who is definitely not a giant.
Not at all.
Shoutouts to Johnny. So just FYI for everyone watching, you're going to be coming up to a super exciting part of the run coming up here. So I hope you guys are ready.
You're referring to Key's body.
I am. I'm
Real
preparing everyone for nap time.
Yeah.
It's a pretty solid track. It's nice and relaxing.
It's an incredible journey.
Basically a lullaby.
So again, we're stopping in another area to pick up some more gear, and then we're gonna go snag the Micron and get headed back. I like the occurrence of the bosses reappearing as regular monsters.
It's not so bad until you get to the ones that still have their can't run flag attached.
That's fair.
And I mean, it's Final Fantasy tradition at this point.
Shoutouts to Pisco Demons.
Taking it old school.
Now that we have the Micron, we're going to start headed back to our home world. And then we're going to take a small shopping stop to pick up sell those things that we have, and then to pick up just an SMG for most people. I don't know if anybody else is going to pick up anything. And then we'll be headed over to Key's body. So just a little bit of a walk.
Toorima, are you going to go for the double Esper Flame swag?
No, I'm gonna. You guys tell me what you want me to do, and I'll do it.
Just buy an SMG. I don't want you to lose like 5 minutes getting wiped by phagocyte groups.
All right, there you go. I guess I'm getting the SMG also.
All right. SMGs for everyone.
So, with my party, since I have 2 Espers and Baby Dragon still, all 3 of them have Flame. And so if I equip them with Magi, they'll do a little extra damage, and I could potentially skip buying the SMG by having all 3 of them hit their flames, but there's a chance that they don't. They die or get paralyzed, so it definitely has its risks with it.
But think of that extra laser sword you could buy later.
Did not sell the Micron.
So far, so
I
good.
also
Super
did not
good.
sell the Micron.
See, the strat I was told was menu down to the Micron and then start selling back up.
Same
I
here,
just sell
Lucky.
down to Gata.
That's if you're if paranoia is like, you know, the first time after you sell it, yeah, you'll be like, oh no. But just don't think about it, and you won't call down the bad vibes.
The other thing that I just did for the first time, like last week, is I bought the wrong item. So there's that also.
Yeah, that can happen. Which one did you buy?
Was it the Tempate or whatever?
Oh
The
no.
temptation.
Yeah, the one that doesn't do anything. And then when I sold it, I still didn't have enough for an SMG to even just kind of scrape by, so...
Playing
Yeah, it
games
happened.
is a real issue.
Buy
in this game.
RPG speedruns?
So inside of Key's body, the only thing we're really doing here is grabbing the Magi locations from each of the hands, each of the feet, the heart, and the intestines. I'll let y'all figure out which is which.
Yeah,
And for an
we're
RPG,
we're quickly
you gotta
ruining
be
his
listening.
life here.
And then afterwards, we'll be heading into Key's brain and fighting the phagocytes. How many of you are farming for the phagocyte meat?
Not me.
Only me, since Leggy already got warning on her Esper.
Okay.
I am not.
All right. So we'll be just Invenerable farming them. So
Hooray.
you'll probably see a save beforehand on Invenerable side, and then the others will just kind of go right through.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and Leggy will not have to worry about surprise attacks in Apollo's world, Venus's world, and Race world. Both Hughes and Toorima will have to endure those if they crop up.
There's only really one place where it's actually genuinely scary, and that's during the Cave of Light.
Maybe one of my espers will learn warning before we get to that point.
Definitely seen the Serpent, Champignon, and Wizard fight in the Volcano wipe runs before.
Yeah, it can. It just is not as likely from what I've seen. It
That's
definitely
the
can,
place
though.
they love to surprise me. I've had it worse there than in the Cave of Light. Saw Paul, like when I was asking Paul if it had ever happened to him, Paul plays poorly, another great runner of this game. He's like, no, this never happened. And then it hit him right between the Lamia fight and the Watcher fight.
Oh no.
And he's like, okay, now it's happened to me.
Yeah, I've died on the racetrack before by getting surprise attacked because they threw a grenade at my robot and you can't dodge that, so...
Yeah, I have also died on the racetrack. The racetrack has huge packs of monsters and lots of damage. But we'll talk about that more when we are actually at that point, I think.
I love the variety of bad things Key has inside of her body.
Right.
She's got Geodudes, terrorists, her own cells, which
Random horses.
octopi. It's great.
Golems
She's the one that's healing everyone too. Think about that.
Yeah,
Yep.
no.
Not after us.
I mean, we've kind of decided with my group that we essentially just ruin her life, you know. She's trying to heal everyone and help everyone, and we just like come in here, take her all the magi, and just see her. We don't even talk to her, we just leave.
Well, maybe she should have hustled when we were in Asura's base, and you know, we wouldn't have had to have done her so dirty like this.
I mean, you know, that's fair. I don't have anything to say about that. That's fair.
I mean, my headcanon is that we are the bad guys. We literally go world to world, committing deicide, like, one after another. Upending the social order and leaving nothing in its place.
That's sort of appropriate considering the name of the last NPC as well.
Goodness.
Yeah, I agree. I love how each of the parts of the body you have to go to as well. Like, you know, Toorima just left the heart 4 chambers there. You know, the intestines have this long winding trail that you have to go around. The hands, well, their hands and the feet are shaped like feet.
Yeah, if you look at like the full-blown maps of this dungeon, it is actually really, really well rendered.
For a Game Boy game, yeah, it is. It's not quite my favorite one of Square's let's make this dungeon in the shape of something. That probably goes to the cat dungeon in Legend 3, but yeah, this is pretty awesome.
I think it's interesting also by just watching that I feel like all of us take different paths through Key's body. Like I always do the hands first, no matter what. I don't always do the left or the right first. It depends on how I feel that day, but I always do the hands first.
I always go hands, heart, left foot, intestine, right foot, head.
Yeah, same.
I start with the left hand and then just make a big U shape.
So that's what I do when I'm playing the DS remake, but they changed the order of things a bit there and then make the strategy that works for this not work well there.
Mm-hmm.
I am impressed with how Key has, in spite of being unconscious, managed to stick her leggies out real far.
All right, here are those phagocytes we were talking about earlier, and this is why we bought that SMG. Got the AoE on the one stack, and they just went down just like that.
Hey, cool, I got meat that I don't need to eat.
Same. First
And
try
meanwhile,
phagocyte meat.
It'll take me like 5 tries accordingly. The game knows. The game knows.
It does. You thought you could get away with it by playing on emulator. That cartridge is cursed enough that you're gonna pay for it even if you're playing.
I mean, if the cart can break my elevator, it can probably.
I'm a firm believer this game knows in just random, like, it fixes itself. Like, we've all seen people be like a minute ahead, and then for whatever reason, just something that doesn't usually happen just happens, and oh, you're not ahead anymore.
Surprise wipe.
Yeah, Odin decides to get a little stabby with the robot.
Oh yeah. Or you're at Minion and all of a sudden Minions manage to wipe your party, which is like, this is not supposed to happen, game.
I had 2 minion wipes yesterday, so I know all about that.
Oh jeez.
Now everybody is currently headed over to Apollo's world.
Well, not everybody.
Oh, sorry.
long
Except for
man.
Invenerable. Invenerable does have to farm for the meat.
That's number 5 down the drain. This is really bad luck. I'm impressed.
But there are a fair amount of caves/dungeons that we're going to be entering in this world. First, we're going to go talk to Apollo, and then we're going to head to the underwater volcano. It's a relatively short dungeon. We're going to pick up a few things along the way, and again, 3 magi at the end of this dungeon. And then immediately following, we'll be headed over to the Cave of Light, aka the Disco Dungeon. Has a very unfortunate side effect of I don't know what they were going for.
You'll know
for this
exactly
dungeon.
why we call it the Disco Dungeon the moment we get there.
But
We will call out when we get there, because if you're photosensitive, I suggest looking away during it.
or if you get motion sick, I do get minor upset stomach due to it. But it is it's definitely just letting everybody know ahead of time that we're saying about 5 minutes.
For me, it's probably more like 2 or 3 at this point.
So yeah, about 2 or 3 minutes. We'll give another warning before we actually go in there. But yeah, Invenerable finally headed. Got the meat he wanted.
Took
And,
about 7-8 tries. Pretty
you'll get that back later.
above average, whichever the worst way is.
This is just your hardware cart taking it out on you for being, scared.
Hey,
of it.
I got the PB last night. This is just casual good times with friends, right?
Pretty much.
Oh, we get out of the way. Okay, there we go.
Oh yeah. You want to explain why we refer to that NPC as Bowie, Inven?
I mean, any NPC with shaggy hair and a bandana, seems fairly appropriate.
So a lot of the chests in the volcano aren't really like too far out of the way. They're 3-4 steps.
Oh,
And some are actually directly along the pathing. The 3 at the end of the Magi chests. There's going to be 3 at the end of 2 of the dungeons at the beginning, and then Mountain Cave. We'll go into Mountain Cave when we get there.
Mountain Cave, we're basically fighting a malfunctioning Dalek sitting at the end that thinks it's a mountain god.
I mean, if I die, I have 3 others to pick me back up, so...
Yeah.
All right. We are back, everyone.
We decided to call it weightlifting instead of buffering.
So yeah, we refer to Disco Dungeon due to the very fast-moving floor. It is really disorienting if you're not used to it. Even if you are used to it, it can be really disorienting.
So I want to set a picture in our younger viewers' eyes here. You remember these old, Soviet brick style Game Boys that you could pretty much take a hammer to and had a pea green screen? They blur like crazy. You can imagine what they look like in this dungeon. It's great. It's just like a constant streak running down the screen of like half gray.
Of sadness.
Yeah.
I think the floor design in this dungeon would have been probably about 10 times better if it was just slower. It's just really, really fast.
Or not moving at all would be nice.
Yeah, that too. Like a nice checkerboard would be pretty cool. But like even just like a tiny bit slower movement.
I think the intention actually was to do what I mentioned, which is that it kind of shimmers on the original screen.
Got it.
But it looks awful on modern hardware.
Totally fair. So,
well, I get to show off Odin for you guys.
Ooh. Oh, did you just rip?
I did. I got unexpected attacked, but I'll show it off because I can.
Oh no.
And that's why I bother with the phagocytes. I don't like it when that happens.
So that means I get to talk to him later then, too.
Yeah, it means that every attempt on Odin, you have like 30 seconds of expository banter before you can actually fight him.
Rip
It's great.
PB dream.
No, just get teleport. Make up for it.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if I do, I don't know how I'll feel.
Teleport the depth, right?
I don't know how I'll feel if I do.
So in the mountain cave, we're gonna be picking up just one thing. It's a little bit out of the way, probably about
It's like 6
total.
steps. It's
I'd
not
say
bad.
about a total of 12, 13 steps. But yeah, it's gonna be selling that later as well. We need a lot of money later on in this run for some minor purchasing. And then at the end of this dungeon, we're gonna fight this awesome boss.
Yeah, the money is due to how the robot works. It gains a lot of agility if we tape a whole bunch of like headbutts and another laser sword to its side. I don't know.
A headbutt to something.
I have no idea.
Very
Magic.
carefully. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the mini boss in this area is he's just unique because he's flagged that the Espers learn spells based off of like I guess the power level of the enemies that you're fighting, and he's flagged as the highest tier, I believe. So you can learn any spell from the game on him with your Espers.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you can get Flare if you want it. You can get the Defense All ability.
Yeah, so casually, if you know that, you can just sit there and keep fighting him, hoping to get something that'll help you throughout your run, or your playthrough, I guess.
But in the speed run, the only thing we're really interested in getting, if we get lucky, is Teleport, which lets you do some things that would break the game. We're not doing that. This is glitchless, but it does save you a whole lot of time if you can land it first try.
Yeah, in this category, if you get teleport, I think it's about 3.5 minutes it saves if you do it, if you use it correctly.
So after the cave, we're gonna do a little bit of shopping, sell all those things that we've picked up, and we're gonna buy some stuff. Mainly some headbutts and laser swords, or a laser sword, as was referenced before, to help give the robots more damage and agility.
Yeah, so now before, when you saw if I took a swing at Donatus there with my single laser sword, my robot did roughly 300 damage, maybe 400, something in that range. It's going to be doing like 800 now with what we just put on it.
Yeah, the just the damage boost from going from the saber to this has been significant. So we're not gonna have too many issues with this robot.
And The added bonus to that is that we've now increased our party agility so high that even during the period where we have Dad here for this next little part, it's pretty unlikely that you get can't runs. Not impossible, but it's pretty unlikely. It's like a 90% chance to run or higher. Watch as I get like 3 can't runs for now saying that.
Can you commentators curse yourself?
Like
I'll try.
no one else.
So I did get 2 abilities, but neither of them were very good from the robot.
What'd you
I
get?
just got HP.
I got heal and gaze.
Heal's not bad. I'd keep that, but that's just me.
I mean, sure. For now,
Not
I
like
mean,
you're gonna have much of a choice because
yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else to use with the espers anyway, so.
So in the Guardian world that we are currently in, first thing we need to do is head to the cafe and play the heroic tune. And that gets us arrested. Because
Yep.
this is apparently Footloose now.
So I know as me personally as a kid, I got stuck here for a long time because I didn't know what to do. But if you actually talk to the bartender, I guess he actually says something about the jukebox. So that's your hint that you're supposed to play a certain song.
It's a good
And
hint.
the jukebox is cheap enough that you can play every single song and just brute force it if you had to.
But luckily, our good old dad is here to relieve us and save us from being permanently jailed.
Yeah, we haven't seen
Apparently, we
him.
just broke into his base.
We haven't seen him in so long, and he's just like, "Hey, how's it going? You should go to bed."
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like a good dad should.
These fights that they are taking are mandatory. And then just gonna leave after what is it? It's 3 fights, right?
4. There's one
4
more.
fights. That's right. Right
Stop.
before you leave.
And then we go into my favorite world by name in the game. It does exactly what it says on the tin.
It's a pretty good name.
Leggy and I will it just be Ninja World for us because we can't get ambushed.
Well, I got surprised. I don't know how I should feel about that.
Oh. Hughes, you want to talk about the problem with surprise?
Yeah, every time you go into battle, you've got a chance of getting a first strike. Even ones that you're running from. And it takes like a second for the text to show saying first strike. So now instead of having nice fast runs, you got slow runs.
Oh wow.
Oh, I got one of the can't runs with Dad. That right there is just instant justice.
Instant Justice is the name of my ultimate attack.
Ooh.
So let's see if I actually get ninja ambushed. This world is actually called Ninja Ambush World.
Is that really the name, or is that just
It
what
is.
I'll call it?
That's the name.
Okay.
It's pretty fantastic.
I honestly didn't know that, and I've been playing this game for far too long. That's awesome.
Luckily, if you don't get ambushed, the ninja is quite a pushover. Just a quick swing with the laser sword. You're good.
No ambush. I'm almost disappointed, but I've said that I'm going to be disappointed with that right up until the point when it happens to me, and the ninja just takes my robot out.
Oh,
Oh wow.
don't even want to dream.
We're gonna make a quick pit stop back in Apollo's world. We get the required magi from Lynn's mom, and then we're gonna go back to the celestial world and head on over to Venus's world. It's basically like industrial complex.
You may think you're supposed to talk to Lynn and comfort her after you've both lost your father, but no, just take the Magi and run.
You talk to her mom, take the magi, and leave.
Yeah, exactly.
And Venus's
talk-
world, I don't know about you guys, Venus's world is definitely my favorite part of this game.
It's
I
definitely
really,
pretty
really
good.
like Venus.
Yeah, it's
Venus.
actually, it has a lot of story in it, which is surprising for this game. I feel like.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
can't
run with
decide
that.
between Venus's World and Edo World for my top.
Edo is also awesome too, but
Venus was like, you get a sewer level and a second volcano. Like, they're so
Yep.
generous.
Who doesn't like volcanoes?
who doesn't like sewers?
Yeah,
That's like
that's true,
RPG 101.
We've had one volcano, yes, but what about second volcano?
The only thing this game is missing is an ice world to be complete.
This
You're
is true.
right.
God, can you imagine ice physics in this game?
No, and I don't want to either.
It'd be like a Chips challenge game.
That's classic right there. Is that available like in Flash form online? I'm mentioned for some Chips challenge now.
Right?
All those other kids in middle school playing Forever Growing Garden? I don't think so. Give me a Chips challenge.
Are we showing our age because we know what Chips Challenge is?
I mean,
Maybe.
Chips Challenge was definitely elementary school computer class for me.
Also, to answer the question, Amazing Toaster, no hot dog stand tonight. Thanks. One,
So,
I couldn't do it because I'm actually playing on hardware, and two, I like my eyes functioning.
Toast, if you ask really nicely, I might break out the Demon Chocobo later, though.
We don't need to do much once we hit Venus's world. We just need to go talk to Venus. Well, really, we don't need to do much before doing anything else. There's a lot to do in Venus's world, but first we need to go talk to Venus.
How's your Ojo-sama laugh?
Very bad. And thank you, Free Enterprise, for that raid.
Hi, Free Enterprise.
I've
How
heard
was the
that
raid?
before.
So we are going to be grabbing just one item in the sewer. At least the route I'm familiar with. I don't know if anybody else picks up anything else. But we will be basically fighting one enemy in here, which is the hermit crab, because it is holding a key. And there's a fair bit of magi at the end of this dungeon.
Did anyone get silver?
I did not.
I did not.
No, I've had enough of fighting crabs.
Yeah. I think most people most runners of this tend to be really on Team Silver right up until a point where they lose 5 minutes to the hermit crab.
Yeah.
I'm nearly not on Team Chameleon anymore, but then again, this is the world where all the payment comes due.
Also, I
I've had,
saw a
7
question in
surprise
chat
attacks.
there from someone asking about Final Fantasy Legend and about its history. We should probably explain where this game comes from.
We probably should, but we won't.
I can do it. I was just hoping someone else would jump in. So that's cool.
The dead air
So-
there. So perfect.
So this game is actually not a Final Fantasy game technically. This is a series that was created for the Game Boy, the original one. This game came out in 1990 in Japan and 91 in the US. It's actually the first, well, this is the second game in the Saga series. So you have Saga 1, 2, and 3 on the Game Boy, then Romancing Saga 1, 2, and 3 on the Super Nintendo, and then Saga Frontier on the PlayStation after that. It's part of the same series. And one of the real defining characteristics I'd say of this game is that it has mechanics that are similar to the old Final Fantasy II on the NES. So there's not really levels like there are in most RPGs. You kind of gain stats based on your class and your actions through the game, which is pretty distinct for RPGs, especially from this point in the game, when this game came out. It's heavy.
It's shaking.
So this is the volcano we were talking about. Maybe it's the same volcano. It just moved to this world.
Just the volcano stalking us, following our every move. Like
Maybe it's
Trying
like
to get the
Figaro
sugars.
Castle in FF6.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I like the head cannon.
We'll start calling this Figaro Volcano in our splits.
The volcano, again, at the end, there are 3 Magi chests, but there's going to be a pretty silly event at the end that happens where we won't actually get all 3 Magi.
Spoilers.
What?
Yeah, so if you see on my stream as I walk through this place, you'll keep seeing Leon hanging back there, trying to be sneaky. He's not working. We know he's there, but he's going to show up about 10 times between now and the exit from this place.
I mean, he's no ninja ambush.
That's
The really great addition with him is in the 3D remake, the DS remake, where not only does he pop up every screen, you get a lovely little camera cut and cutscene to make it take as long as possible.
Oh yeah, it's great.
At least he's wearing clothes in that one, instead of just, a loincloth.
Yes, so this world, if you haven't noticed, has a lot of really weird triggers on how to advance the plot. Like, you can't leave Venus's town until you talk to Venus. And then the sewer we all went into, you can't go into the sewer until you talk to Leon in their dirty town because. And if you try to, it just says sewers do not enter or something like that.
Yep.
And then the volcano only appears when you talk to was it Flora up there?
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you don't talk to Flora and you're just wandering around, you'll have no idea where to go.
So basically, what you're saying is, when in doubt, talk to NPCs.
Yeah, you
Star,
pretty much
Star
had to
Tropic
talk.
Syndrome.
You had to talk to every NPC in this game to have any chance of figuring out what you actually needed to do. And even then, it was only a chance because the translation in this game is appalling.
The translation is shaking. It's heavy.
Like, if you actually want to understand the story for this game, play the DS remake.
Yeah. I'd say the translation here is so ridiculous, it's almost bananas.
B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
We'll get into why that's funny later.
So after the volcano, we've actually got a pretty difficult boss. It can be quite rude. Which will be Venus, actually. Venus herself.
Yeah, we've had enough of her Ojo-sama laugh, and we're gonna introduce her to the murder bot.
She's kind of a big roadblock in the game casually, but once you know the power of building your own murder bot, she's not so bad.
I've had so many surprise attacks. They're strike first, I guess.
Does it surprise you, though?
Leggy tried to warn you.
So anyway, who's ready to crash a wedding?
Me.
So the plot is, at the end of the volcano we find the Magi, but Leon, who's been stalking us the whole time, comes in, steals one of the Magi, a Magi of power, because apparently he wants to actually do physical things.
Apparently he thinks he can take Venus on with a single knife power. It's pretty gutsy.
But Flora has been ordered to marry Niles, who is a very handsome demon. and I think we have something to say about that.
Wild Roger in chat. Who's the main baddie in this game? It's us. We go around leaving every world in chaos.
But we leave happy couples in our wake.
That's true. We overthrow governments, but we play matchmaker.
And we don't like anyone that's taller than one sprite pixel either.
Yeah, anyone who's taller than one sprite tall is immediately suspicious and probably our enemy.
Tall
Except
people
for
are always
Apollo.
suspicious.
Apollo is definitely on our side. He helped us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
this is
he's
true.
3 tall instead of 2.
He
He's
gave
gotta
us
be extra trustworthy.
He gave us hints and magi.
And I am now taking my first save of the game.
And he also actually hosts the dragon race, which is never really, like, you don't see that on the speed run, but if you go into the big house over on the side, he's like, hey, race some dragons with some magi. Nothing to see here.
Venus is being very kind to me right now.
Pretty much as long as she doesn't land a Blitz whip hit on your robot, it's pretty much a safe fight. If she does that, just get ready to hit the reset.
So yeah, Venus has 2,500 HP here, and she can use Flame, which is pretty dangerous, and the Whip, as Invenerable mentioned as well, which are pretty much reasons why we save right before.
Hey, I got a surprise attack on Venus, so there's that.
Ooh, cool.
Nice.
3 damage.
I had a nice 3-round Venus where she opened with Flame, and all I had left was a murder bot.
That works well as long as she doesn't just dunk on Murderbot.
And then she missed.
Hey, I lost surprise and got teleport though.
Oh,
Now that you really don't need it, right?
I mean, you can still save a bit of time with that if he wants to.
yeah,
I'll just teleport out of the dragon race and cheat.
I mean, teleport does save a little bit of time running around Ada World.
Yeah, a bit. Problem is it teleports you around Ada World so much that it's really minor.
Speaking of Race World, here we are.
Okay, everyone get your guesses in.
Yeah.
How many times are we going to have to reset on Watcher?
All of them.
Yes. How many times will it take for Watcher Meat to appear?
It'll be different for all 4 of us, incidentally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as long as you guess any one of us, you can count yourself a winner in your heart.
I don't know if anybody's ever watched dragon racing before, but if you've ever watched NASCAR, it is nothing like that.
Those of you guessing 69, if we get 69, that would be world record bad luck for Watchers.
What is the record? Like 33?
Something like that. Yeah, it's about half.
That's oof.
So also on the race world, I am the only one that I know of that takes the second fastest dragon. Everyone else takes the second slowest dragon. So there's that, I guess.
Yep.
There are a couple of things that we're going to have to fight here before we can advance. Mostly be running from any of the encounters except for the ones that kind of pop up with a sprite beforehand.
This is another part of the game where those of us who lack warning are a little scared because there are huge parties here and they like to do unexpected attacks.
Yeah, it's just pretty tough when you get packs of 12 just all over you.
Yep. I think most of us, when doing PB attempts in here, have probably been killed by an unexpected attack to this.
And holy cow, that dragon is really fast. I've actually never seen the fast dragon.
There's one even faster than this, which is even crazier. So
That one's just downright uncontrollable.
yeah. So when I was talking about teleport earlier, since I got teleport, if I were to use teleport right now, it works as a door, so I can teleport to different towns.
No way. I just got first.
I know it's hard to believe.
Wow. GG.
Good job, man. But if you use teleport while on a dragon, you keep the dragon, and then you can like go through walls and everything else. So it's just breaking the game.
I think that was like 5 or 6 for me.
I'm just settling down for the inevitable 25 plus. I know it'll be a while.
Your cart is taking it out on you for not using it in this marathon.
A little note with the Watcher is you're going to see them reset out of Watcher if they end up with 3 or 4. 2 or 1 is the best just because you don't risk, getting wiped and having to just lose that fight anyways.
Honestly, with the Watcher fight, there's kind of 2 schools of thought with it. One is that you take 2 Watcher encounters, and the other is that you reset for only singles. And I've been a member of both groups at various points. Because 3 or 4, you're going to have your monster die, most likely, before.
Yeah, even if your robot kills everything, your little baby dragon is probably going to have a bad time.
And the next world, Edo World, probably the longest in the game, I feel personally.
It's a long one, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you got to do. First, we hit up the town that Hughes is currently in. And then, we're just going to be hitting different places and revisiting these places multiple times.
Just did a little bit of shopping myself here. So this is Edo town, and we're going to go over and see that lovely little detective that we just ran into who lives in Nihonbashi.
Mine was 9 Watchers, by the way.
I'm already
That's
at about 11 or 12.
well above average. Or
I'm
well
already at
below
12 or
average.
13.
I want to say the average is like 15 or so for.
So Hughes bought the cat claw because, again, that's we're basically anything that we buy is either going to be for damage or for boosting agility for more damage. Basically, it's all going to be for damage. But the cat claw gives how much of a boost again to agility?
So the cat claw is not actually that big. I think it's only like 18 agility. But the key with it is that it's one of the last weapons in the game where the damage is based on your agility rather than based on strength. I think it's like agility times 11 or something like that for the total damage.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty big number.
And this game only shows that you have 99 agility, but you can go all the way up to 255 if you wanted to be crazy about it. So you can do a ton of damage with a cat claw.
Hooray, meat!
Yay!
I think
First
it was
try.
16 or 17? Not positive, but it was more than I would have liked.
So I just finished harassing a hapless shopkeeper.
You're pretty close, Leggy.
Yeah.
I am just on the boat now.
Nice.
On a boat, you say?
Yep. So another thing to mention here is this game also, as I mentioned before, has an absolutely awful translation, but it's also a translation that was censored pretty heavily by Nintendo at the time. So this boat, which we're investigating as being like full of criminal activity, we're going to find out what it's full of here in a moment.
It's full of laser guns and tanks.
Yeah.
It is,
Exactly.
but apparently those are
I bought a laser gun.
been doing the to robot route too many times recently and forgotten kind of what I need to do for the menu.
Can it really
I have
be the
teleport,
seediest?
and I'm walking back and forth because I forgot I have teleport.
Nice.
So after the boat here, we gonna do a little bit of exploring. Gotta go to a courthouse, get some cutscenes activated. We gotta head back to a town and recruit Hannah. We'll do a little bit of equipping and head back to the city.
Yep, I am just now leaving the boat and headed over to the Bugio's court, which is where we're
Yeah, we
about
are
to
neck
find.
and neck right now.
I did my equipment at the bottom. Have you done yours yet?
I have not, so
Yeah, so you've got probably 20 seconds still to make up there.
yeah.
Close. Really
Very close.
Yeah. I had way too many watcher mates, so I think I'm gonna show off the fun little thing you can do when you get the cutscene post boat. I think I'm gonna treat people to that. Everything else has gone wrong. Might as well have a little fun with it.
So yeah, what was referred to as contraband in the original Japanese version of this game is replaced with bananas.
Bananas are pretty threatening, if you ask me.
They are ever so slightly radioactive.
Contra bananas, yes, exactly.
So the main reason for teleport in this world, since I just used it, I don't have to walk out of the boat. I can just teleport back to Edo and walk down to the courtyard, so it saves it running from all the fights on the way out. It saves more time, obviously, in Venus's world with how much you're moving around, but it does save a little bit of time in Edo world.
Right, and you also get to teleport from Nihon Bashi after you get Hana as well back to Edo Town.
So back in the city, we're going to be fighting kind of like a mini boss. Relatively easy fight, especially with the cat claw. I don't actually know anything about the story at this point in the game except for bananas.
I mean, the
That's
other
all
thing
there is.
is down at the bottom here, you have the Shogun in Ichigoya, Ichigoya being the merchant we were harassing earlier, who got marched up to the judge before his name got cleared, basically flirting with each other about how evil each other is.
I mean, who doesn't do that?
I mean, exactly. And then the music changes and the people inside the room hear it, so we're assuming the robot comes with a jukebox and it's all diegetic audio.
Yep. The murder bot has like a speaker system sitting inside its body cavity. It's right
pretty
next
sweet.
to all the lasers that we've taped to it.
Got the tunes you can listen to while you're cruising along.
Man, all these banana and fruit puns are, they're good. They're on point. As a dad, I truly appreciate these.
Nice.
Some really good ones. You could say the puns are fruitful.
Would you say they're appealing?
I would say that, yes. Yes.
That hurts.
So after
Now,
Ichigoya, we learned from Taro, who was the dude running around with us and Hana, that he's actually one of the Guardians, the organization that our dad was a part of. He wants to know how our dad is doing. Reminder,
I mean, this is for Paul. I love this.
reminder that our dad is dead. So basically, we're just gonna go in and hex stuff up in this world.
Yeah, now we're breaking into the castle.
Yeah, the palace, aka castle, aka this long annoying dungeon, is definitely the last area here.
So those lovely guards that were at the start of this place when I just went through there. This game doesn't have much memory because of when it was made. It's a really tiny game. So later on the fourth and fifth floors of this, that exact encounter with the can't run bit, because it's a boss set, reappears. So when we go through here, if we see anything that looks like that group again, we have to stop and fight it. It's great.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate that that's the case.
And
But
the
it's
worst
definitely
part
understandable.
is that there are encounters that use the same set of enemies, but that are runnable, that occur on other floors.
Yep.
So if you can't let your guard down once you get high enough in the castle.
Once you're on the fourth floor, I think the only thing that can have the golem type guys is the group, but yeah, it's obnoxious.
Also, since I don't think we ever said anything, the reason that we sat there and have to grind meat from the Watcher is because it turns our baby dragon into a Watcher, which is obviously apparent if you're watching. And he has the beam attack, which is an AoE attack for like a group of enemies, and he's a very late game monster. And he also has warning, so the people that didn't have warning up to this point, now we can't get unexpected attacked, which is why you're not seeing them anymore all of a sudden.
Yep. Yeah, we went from having what is basically a special version of the baby dresser called a mini dragon that you get at the start of the game, all the way to like a tier 8 monster that is one category away from end game by just eating that meat. It's great.
I found the friends.
Oh no.
I'm just saving here.
So we want to do a little bit of equipping before we fight the Shogun here, because afterwards we're gonna, I guess you could do it afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, you can hold on to that samurai bow for a while, but you want the agility and the HP from equipping it before you have to fight Magnate, because this guy is mean.
Yeah. I was just about to cover that. Magnate is definitely I'd say probably one of the rudest besides, two of the next two bosses, I would say.
Magnate's a real jerk.
Even casually, he's really hard, because even if you're well equipped and everything, if he wants to kill you, he can kill you.
Yeah, he'd use Tornado on me first turn, so I just noped out of that immediately.
Yeah. Tornado is like the single most obnoxious skill, at least in my book, that monsters throw at you.
Yeah, it's pretty rotten. I'm probably toasted.
So also, we got the Aegis Magi from Venus. It's very broken in this game. You can use it to... it gives your party protection from elemental attacks. So you want monster bosses in the future to start using pretty much just any elemental attack and it'll just be blocked and you take no damage.
Yeah, you use the Aegis Magi once, and it basically protects you for the remainder of the fight from all sources of elemental damage. And it functions as a shield, so the person who uses it has a very good chance of blocking any physical attacks that are sent their way.
So yeah, as you can see, Magnate's being pretty rude. There's a few spots in this game where you can lose a considerable amount of time just due to poor RNG.
Yeah, Magnate just decided it wanted to take a minute and a half from me.
Yeah. I got scared because Magnate took out my Aegis user before we got the cast off. Luckily got through.
Yeah, I just finished. I had to reset twice. It was rough.
In the next world, we're actually not going to be doing much. There's one thing that we want. We're going to go pick up a Magi in the single cave that's there and leave because everything's pretty rude in this dungeon, apparently.
Yeah, this place is called Nasty Dungeon, and at the start, next to the one chest we're going to hit, is a pixie that, when you talk to her, says that you should just leave because this is a mean dungeon. So we're taking her advice and doing so. Anyone want to explain what happens if you actually go all the way through here and interact with said pixie again?
I can do it if you want.
Yeah, go for it.
So it's 10 floors and it's full of just, treasure and all that good stuff that, you explore in a JRPG. And if you get all the way to the 10th floor, right before you leave, that same pixie's at the end. And she says something along the lines of, it was a nasty dungeon like I told you, wasn't it? And if you say yes, then you're allowed to pass and you leave. If you tell her no, she says something, I don't remember what she even says along the lines of, but she sends you back to floor 5 to find your way out again.
Oh, wow.
Like right in the middle.
That's rude. That's very
And
rude.
the monsters in the Nasty Dungeon are actually the endgame monsters. So the first 5 floors are basically the monsters that you encounter in the final dungeon. And then the last 5 floors are full of the monsters from the Gauntlet. So it is exactly what it says on the tin. It is a nasty dungeon.
Hey, Magnet, do you know anything other than Tornado? Just asking for a friend.
Just a heads up, Odin will actually talk to me in this world. We're going to be fighting Odin here. Since I died during my run, Odin's actually going to talk to me, and before I fight and after I fight him. For everyone else, when they talk to Odin, they just go directly into a fight with him, and then when he dies, he just dies. He doesn't talk to them anymore. So even if I get a first try Odin, I'm automatically going to lose like 30 to 45 seconds because I died at one point during the game or during the run.
Yeah, the developers didn't actually expect that anyone would get here all the way without ever having died once, because this game is not easy casually. The mechanics are so weird that it's really hard to get through here without dying at least once.
Yeah, nothing's explained on what does what and everything, so...
And they just kind of forgot to put text in, or didn't have space in the ROM to put text in for what happens when you talk to Odin if you've never had the quest state set that you've talked to Odin. So he just fights you.
They do include that in the DS remake, though.
Yep.
And it's kind of cheeky because you treat him just like all the rest of the new gods you've encountered. They're all jerks. They've all deserved death, and you approach him accordingly.
And you deliver it to him.
Indeed.
So
Alright,
you may have
let's
seen.
go.
Oh, you may have seen a couple people so far pick up Flare. Flare is probably the biggest thing that we're picking up in this dungeon. Will be used a little bit later, just to help deal a lot of extra damage against one of the bosses.
So if we didn't have warning, the Odin boss fight could actually get an unexpected attack on you, which is, always fun to go into a boss battle and have a free round against you.
Yeah. And Odin doesn't need any help. He has got many, many ways to kill your partner.
Okay, so there's wipe one to Odin.
Really just the one way. That big old spirit does. Everything else, if you get the Aegis up, you just kind of shrug it off. But he loves that spear.
It's that if that's the problem, because he goes fast enough to prevent you from getting this off.
That's true.
Oh, I got Slepnerd. Thanks, game. So there's a glitch. Well, not really a glitch as much as a implication of how this game processes what happens when you finish a fight. So it checks at the same time as it's calculating how much money to give you, whether or not a particular monster should drop meat. And if one of them does, it's going left to right. If one of them does, it just nopes out, forgets to give you the money for the rest of it. So what just happened there for me is that the Sleipnir, the leftmost monster, decided to drop meat, and it gave me none of the money for Odin or the Odin Crows. And as a result of that, I'm now about 37,000 GP short of what I should have. We call that getting Sleipnired.
Fortunately, there is extra gear that we can pick up, right?
Yep.
And basically not the final dungeon, but the dungeon right before that will be.
Well, it's literally called Final Dungeon.
Well, okay, yeah. Sorry.
It might not be the final dungeon, but it is the final dungeon.
Sorry, it's final dungeon, but not the final dungeon.
Exactly.
There will be a couple things that Hughes will be picking up that other people won't. Other people may as well. I'm not sure totally on that one.
Yeah, my GP is low enough that I may actually end up getting both the Arthur armor and the X-Gal because I'm pretty broke right now. For marathon safety, I really should, but I really would rather not.
You did get first try Watcher meat.
I did, and then I lost it to Magnate.
True. I'm trying to be encouraging here.
So you saw Hughes there successfully use Stone Gaze. Stone Gaze is a nice insta-kill on... I don't know if it works on, like, not all the bosses, but is there anything that it doesn't work on besides, like, some of the main ones?
I think at this point it works on everything, but it's only like a 25% chance to hit.
Hey,
Yeah,
Robot,
so-
could you not miss Odin with the cat claw? Could you not with
In the remake, they're kind enough to add a spell called Break, which functions much better than Stone Gaze does. And if you watch the remake speedrun, you'll get to see some hilarious stuff happen with Break. But in this game, really the only time that we get to do anything fancy with this is right now, where we will use the Stone Gaze on Minion and on the War Machine at the end of this place.
So the only other notable boss that I know you can Stone Gaze is Venus, but usually your mana stat's so low that you don't really have a chance to pull it off.
Yeah, mechanically, Stone Gaze doesn't have a very good chance of landing. Also, in this game, it's called War Mat with an A.
And it has a 2 on the side of it.
And the funny thing there is that in both the Final Fantasy Famicom release and in this, they're both called Death Machine. They just got translated 2 different ways.
I mean, war and death usually do kind of coincide.
So I took a little detour than everyone else. I walked into town and left right away. Since I got teleport, after this dungeon, I can just teleport to the final town. If you don't walk into it and then leave it, you can't teleport there, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think one time I got teleport off Venus, and I didn't realize you couldn't teleport to Ado until you've left the town. So I kind of ran into a little bit of issues after I bought my cat claw.
Wow.
All right, I am going to pick up X-Cal just for marathon safety. I don't want to try and do the last gauntlet descent with 2 and 4. That would suck.
I mean, you could illustrate how to properly budget.
I haven't done the 2 human route in months at this point because I was messing around with that 2 robot jank.
That 2 robot jank is rather fun. It's just, not the fastest option.
I mean, you'd really be messed up now if you did the 2 robot route, getting Sleipnir meat.
It's not so bad.
Yeah. No, it's really, really bad for my 2 robot configuration to get
Oh,
Sleipnir.
for yours? Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because you don't like getting the Sun Sword, right?
I prefer to not get the Sun Sword, and I have to get Sun Sword because I just can't skip it. I need that. I only normally can afford 1 Dragon Sword. So, if you get Sleipnir, you basically have the 2nd robot being so useless that you may as well just put a laser gun on him.
I'm sure you would have gotten a lucky gun drop if you had done 2 robot tonight.
No.
You got first try watcher, man.
That's pretty fast.
You're leading a charmed life.
I do like how both War Machine and War Mech are both in really long hallways.
And
Yep.
they're very symmetrical, as I might add.
Yeah. Just a nice long straight line walk.
Also, I want to call out, now that I'm just about to leave here, but this dungeon here at the end, called Final Dungeon, really reminds me of Meat Fort from Final Fantasy V.
Yeah,
Just because of all the stuff on the wall.
I agree on that one. The faces mostly, or what look like faces.
I'm pretty sure they're faces.
Probably. It is a video game.
Not having good luck with Stone Gaze.
I swear, I've seen more 3 encounters and 4 steps tonight than I have on either of my previous 3 runs. I think all my good step chart has been in the Celestial World.
The good news about War Machine is that you're putting up basically about 2,500 around, maybe even more.
Yeah,
so that's usually about 4 rounds that it's a nice, easy, quick punch through. If Stone Gaze doesn't happen to work.
Unfortunately, I wiped to War Machine.
No.
I got Stone Gaze, so I got very lucky.
Yeah. Second try, I got Stone Gaze first try.
Yeah, War Machine can
50%
definitely be
of the
rude.
time.
Thanks, Inven.
So in the final town, there's going to be a little bit more shopping. We're going to buy. We're going to basically just sell everything in our inventory, and we're going to buy elixirs and tents, just to make sure that we're able to keep up with our healing in between battles in the final dungeon.
Yeah, the actual Final Dungeon, which
Yes.
we call the gauntlet.
Man, I forgot how low HP Espers have compared to humans in this game.
They only have like 1/8 of the chance that humans do to actually get a HP up. So yeah, it's pretty rough.
My 1 Esper still only has 80 HP.
Oof.
Oof. Yeah, your Espers are pretty much just going to fall over in the final fight.
And Sky Palace, the final dungeon. We do want to save before Apollo here. Apollo. is,
I never normally equip heart, but I'm just realizing, okay, marathon safety, I should do that.
Thank you for reminding me.
But yeah, Apollo can be rude. We'll go with rude.
I hope you enjoy the sound of laser guns, by the way.
Yeah. Because 3 of my party members are using laser gun beam, and that makes the same sound, more or less.
It's a pretty good sound, not gonna lie. There's worse sounds.
For sure.
Yeah, I had way too much money. Definitely got
So
used to
this fight is supposed to be really, really different from how we do it in the speed run. Apollo likes to do like 4 turns of monologue here where he talks about all of the magi he stole from us. And during that time, he's supposed to be impervious to attacks. Unfortunately, they forgot to realize that they put weapons in this game that have a bit set that they can't miss. And the laser gun and the flare spell are both those. So we can do damage to him when we're not supposed to be able to do damage to him. Normally, I would say this is actually the hardest fight in the game.
Casually, when I was a kid, man, I died for months to Apollo just because I didn't understand the mechanics of it.
This fight seems like it would be really rough, just casually, if you didn't know what was going on.
It was normally, like in the speedrun, we're going to get him having basically 2 turns of attacks and then he's dead. Normally, casually, he'll be hitting you for 10 turns before you can actually take him out. So I'm not sure it's that they didn't notice that the lasers still hit him. I think it's more that it was they didn't have a way to fix it because they had weapons that they put in the game that couldn't miss, that are actually like they need to not be able to miss because that's sort of their intention. But they didn't have another way to signal that, you know, this boss should actually be invincible.
So when Apollo enters his like melty phase, you can just kind of run away and he will just melt the next turn and your dad will protect you from everyone. Will protect your party and die instead.
The easiest part of walking in this game is coming up. It's about 8 screens roughly of a straight line. Unfortunately, there's a lot of can't run monsters.
Yeah, every single pack except for 1 in the gauntlet is flagged as can't run.
So, just a heads up: if I run into the optional super boss, the Haniwa, I would be attempting to fight it. It's the only battle that you can run from down here. So, in a PB attempt, you'll definitely want to run into it, so you can just run away and save time.
Also, we are now playing Count to 5 Simulator.
Yep. Or Count Down from 5 Simulator.
Yeah.
So Isis has 5 charges on the flare spell, and that's one reason that we bought the elixirs beforehand, is just to make sure that Isis stays up on those flares, since they are true AoE and they help take down the whole pack of enemies.
Man, this game is not being nice. I've fought 3 monsters in the gauntlet so far, and 2 of them have been Musashi.
Hey. Rude.
At the end of the 5th floor, we will run into a boss. I don't know how many are going to be farming for the meat.
We all do.
Oh, y'all do? Okay.
We're all going for Tianlong's meat.
Got it. Okay.
Tianlong
So
and
then,
Fender always drop me.
okay, got it.
And yeah, they're, as Inven said, they are guaranteed meat drops. The way this game implemented the chance for meat drops, there's 2 bits. One is 20% plus like however many people you have alive, and the other is plus 80%. So if they want to guarantee that you can have a particular monster drop meat, they just set both of them.
And because those are the only 2 monsters that take your monsters up to tier 5, it was very generous of them to make it guaranteed.
But they more than likely will be saving beforehand, just due to the fact that if you run into more than 1 or 2 of them, it's pretty scary.
Yeah. I will take 2 Fenrirs, but I will not take 2 Tianlongs because I need to have the Watcher alive at the end of it.
I've had like my espers get and lose teleport probably, I don't know, 6 times since I've been out since Apollo.
Nice.
I've gotten only one monster to drop meat in my final gauntlet. Hello, I would like something good, please. Where's all the meat hiding? I've had so many meat problems this run.
They're keeping it all on skewers.
Inven, I think I'm getting all your meat drops.
Oh, okay. I finally got another one. Didn't give me anything good, mind you, but I got another one.
Perfect. 1 Tianlong straight off the bat.
Hey, fancy. More meat. I am in some little cycle of monsters that is not on my shopping list.
It's fun to do that sometimes, just randomly eat meat and hope you get something good out of it.
I mean, I have my list of ones I consider good, and we have... Come on, baby. Nope. I don't recognize any of these.
And at the end of the 8th floor, we'll run into the Fenrir's, and then after that, we'll get the maze. The maze, does it have more than one way through it?
Hey, how does 4 Qianlong sound? That sounds like a good number of...
That sounds like fun. I'm not sure. So there's only one way to get to Arsenal, but I think there's more than one way to get to that one way.
Okay. But yeah, after they get through these 8 floors of walking straight down, we will see them have to kind of navigate through a maze. It's relatively simple to go through. Just basically turn once you hit a dead end of the corner, except for a couple places.
There are some enemies that will live through flare, so you kind of have to try to remember which ones they are to get your robot to also target them on this walk down. So,
Yep. So if you see me or the others start shooting samurai bow at like a G7 or a Musashi or a bunch of other monsters, that's why. Otherwise, we'll probably just spam A through the entire thing and let Flare sort it all out.
Uh-oh. Guess you got a fight without having... Ah! I was hammering that button to try to get into my menu, but it's fine.
Okay.
Bye, Fenrir.
Alright, so as Toorima enters the final area, the maze, is there anything we should expect to worry about in here?
I mean, so I'll first off say sorry to everyone. The frame rate is going to be destroyed for the next 5 minutes, whether you like it or not. Because with Toorima and me both on the bottom floor, there's no way.
Lots of shaking.
I guess we can get drops, but no one's using 2 robots to benefit from it. You can run into some people that'll drop sun swords, which is the strongest, like, free sword, I guess. So I don't think you can get a karate from the black belts back here.
Nope.
You know,
I
it
did
helps
get a
after
dragon
you,
sword drop, but
after you restore your flares, make sure you start using them again. Don't just hammer A.
But right before we get to Arsenal, we're going to tent, make sure everybody's at full, and we're gonna throw down a save. Arsenal. Well, this is Arsenal. We're gonna be basically using our strongest attacks that we can.
Arsenal. I think that's pretty much sums up Arsenal.
Yeah.
I hate that guy.
That's my arsenal.
Arsenal's got a total of 17,000 HP and 3 phases.
Yeah, so Arsenal doesn't function in a way that makes sense. Basically, Arsenal itself has 10,000 HP, and it has 4 cannons that you have to take out as its first phase, each with 1,000 HP.
And overflow damage doesn't do any good there.
Yeah. But once you start the second phase, any damage you deal counts against the third phase. So you want to tip him at you want him to go right before you knock him over 5,000 damage, because then he'll start using the big one. All right.
My Esper lost Thunder and gained Thunder.
Good trade.
Sounds like a good trade-in.
I'm going to be quiet here for this because I actually have to count.
Oh man, he got to attack me with all 4 cannons, so that's sad for my low HP Esper. So I half count, so I will talk during this fight. Yeah, phase 1, we're just doing, trying to do 1,000 damage to destroy his cannons. And then the second phase, he goes into the small smasher, which he is single targeting, and then you can dodge it. So the high agility robot has a chance to dodge it, and the butterfly has absorbed, so she gains her HP back when she deals damage. If you have a human or Esper with a tank on, the tank has a chance to block it. So that's why we usually put the person in front with a tank. The third phase is the large smasher, and it hits everyone, and it doesn't matter what your stats are. It does anywhere from, I always mess these numbers up. Was it like 63 to 639?
That sounds right.
And it's just completely random and does whatever it wants to do. So the path we take, everyone usually gets mad on Butterfly because her agility is really high, and she absorbs HP to heal herself, which makes you be able to survive Arsenal. Ooh. GG, Arsenal.
GG's.
GG's.
I didn't get any misses, so that's the big thing with Arsenal. His agility stat is insanely high. I don't know the number. I'm sure Hughes does when he's not doing his fight.
Mine's now done.
GG.
But since his agility is so high, he has a chance to, or you have a chance to miss with your absorb. So if you miss an absorb, there's definitely a chance you'll wipe. And the other big thing is, if it ends the turn with the smasher, and then the next turn it starts the turn with the smasher, there's nothing you can really do about it. It just kind of just tip your hat to Arsenal and do it again.
Yeah, this game's turn order is total jank. The way it works is that you take your base agility and then roll a random number to your base agility and add that there. So if your base agility is 100, you'll have a random number between 100 and 200. And the person with the highest roll goes first. Now, like, your robot has enough agility that your robot is almost certainly going to overflow the 255 and end up going last. And between Arsenal and your Madam Butterfly, Arsenal probably goes first about 60% of the time, and your Butterfly 40% of the time. Because Arsenal has 99 agility, and your Butterfly has like 94 or something. So realistically, Arsenal can just wreck you if the turn order doesn't work out in your favor, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Okay, I missed an absorb. My butterfly survived. Next attack
Ooh.
killed.
GG.
Nice.
GG.
That's a
I like-
PB.
GG.
Congratulations.
I like how oddly on point the name Smasher is.
It's a great name for that weapon. It's so much better than the name they used to make. The remake's name for it is nowhere near as entertaining.
Go on.
I honestly can't even remember what it's called, to be honest. I have to look it up.
Yeah, that's like a 3-minute PB for me.
GG.
Oh, nice.
Well, luckily I'm not going to be that far behind in spite of my abysmal watcher luck. I think this round
was,
will seal the deal.
This was a close race, like
Oh, I don't get my
in
cat
general.
off though.
y'all put on
Oh.
a fantastic show.
I think I'm about to take a wipe here. Yeah, I don't think my poor little... Yeah, 84 is not going to cut it. Let's reset that. I'm not going to be dishing out double-digit damage and finish it off. That was really bad luck. Didn't get my absorb off between two
Dang.
consecutive smashers.
Ooh.
Well, you just wanted to show off how Arsenal could be since all three of us beat him first try.
Oh yeah, exactly. I even had a surprise round the first time, and just the damage numbers really did not play well.
Did you let your cart talk to your emulator?
Yep.
Yeah.
They've been plotting. That's all good though. Honestly,
cart knew.
how bad the early game of this went, the fact that we're still in decent shape, I'm content.
Yeah, no, everybody did fantastic.
It was a close race. I mean, there's lots of back and forths, which you usually don't see in this kind of game.
I was
After a
not
certain point, like-
expecting with 3 different party compositions for the 3 of us to be within 2 minutes as well.
I
And
mean,
Inven would be right there too, except that Arsenal's going to Arsenal.
right after you guys both, did you two both get first try watcher meet? You and Leggy?
I did. I don't know about Leggy.
No, I was still
Didn't you say
single digits,
6?
but not first try.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I,
just
think you said
remember-
6.
I remember that he was kind of like, oh, we both got it. And I was like, oh, I just got to hit the watcher. So I
Also-
forgot. I wiped in this too.
For those in chat who are mentioning the DS remake, because I've been dropping notes about it the entire run, there is a fantastic translation patch for it that you can grab. And the DS remake is really good, but it has some really questionable design decisions when it comes to the stuff it added. But it's worth playing through for sure. Especially if you actually want to know what this game's story is, because there's no way you're figuring that out from the Game Boy version.
Also, just throwing it out there that if anyone wants to learn this game, it's a pretty easy to learn game. It's RNG heavy at certain points, but it is pretty straightforward. We have Shala made some detailed notes. We have a Discord, and if anyone likes to join, it's a pretty welcoming community, and yeah, come learn it.
Yeah, this run is surprisingly
good.
easy to pick up. I learned it relatively quick, and GG.
GG,
Oh.
Inven.
GG.
I will
GG.
take a sub 150 with how that run went. Oh goodness. Moral of the story: don't sneak up on the Arsenal, because the game knows it's like, hey, that's cheating. No surprises allowed. GG's everyone. That was fun.
Yeah.
Let's do that again.
For
Yeah.
sure,
Not
race
like
everyone.
tonight, but you know.
All right, I think with that, we're pretty much good to go. We can watch Inven's credits, or we could just
Oh wait, let
Marathon move on.
me fix them to be,
Oh, I wonder where this is going.
there we go. That's much better.
So while Inved is having fun, I just want to thank the RPG Blitz Marathon for taking this race. This was a ton of fun.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. And this will also be at Limit Break in a couple of months. So if you want to see another race of it, it'll be shown there as well.
This very channel, in fact.